30-year celebration. We are proud to be serving Pasco County residents, community, family members. Our facility is a 5-star quality rated center. We're very proud of that rating by Medicare. Senator Fasano is here to speak to all of us, and we are honored to have him at our event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to come and visit with you on your 30th anniversary here at Bear Creek. You know, I've lived in Pasco County for 40 years now and have been a legislator for 17 years, and I have visited Bear Creek many times. Have not been back, though, for a while, and as I approached a few moments ago and pulled into your driveway and into your parking lot, it hit me right away of the magnificent renovations that you have made here at Bear Creek, and I got the tour and want to congratulate you. Congratulate you not only in the renovations, but also congratulate you on those that have been here serving our senior citizens and others for so very many years. When I first moved here 40 years ago, I was about 12, 13 years old, and where I grew up here in West Pasco, pretty much it was nothing but senior citizens. And they truly have made our country great. And what you're doing for them today and the caregivers do for our seniors, we truly appreciate that. You know, I tell you a quick story. There's a great book out by Peggy Noonan. It's called When Character Was King. And it's about Ronald Reagan. And it gets a little partisan, but I don't mean to be that way. But I tell you that about character because all of you that work here have character. And most importantly, our country is great because of its character and because of people that lived during and participated as part of the greatest generation. And in that book, it talks about Ronald Reagan's character. It talks about a woman named Frances Green. Frances Green was a senior citizen. Frances Green lived in California. Frances Green was a great, great patriot and a big fan of her party, but also a big fan of her president, Ronald Reagan. Frances Green, every month, used to take about $1 or $2 as a senior citizen who was living on a fixed income, put it in an envelope and send it to the Republican National Committee in Washington. And I don't have to tell all of you that when you send a donation to whomever it may be, what do you get back? Another envelope, right? And every month, Frances would stick $1 because that's all she could afford. And maybe once in a while, she'd stick $2. Well, one month, she got an envelope. She got an invitation. Very nice print, raised print, eloquent invitation to come to the White House and meet Ronald Reagan. And she thought, my God, my dream is going to come true. I'm going to meet my hero, Ronald Reagan. The problem that Frances Green didn't notice was there was an RSVP. And you had to send a little more than just $1 back in order to participate in this event. We've all gotten those invitations. Frances Green immediately went up to her attic, pulled out an old black dress, took off all the mothballs and packed it up. She went to the bank and took every dollar she had out of the bank, and she went and bought her train ticket. A train ticket to go from California to Washington, D.C., so she can meet her hero. Now, all she could afford, ladies and gentlemen, was a coach seat. For those of you who have been around a lot longer than I, a coach seat is what? You're sitting up all the way there and all the way back. Now, this trip had to take her, what, 3-4 days, maybe longer than that? She got to Washington, D.C. She booked into a very old hotel because that's all she could afford. An 85-year-old Frances Green the next day got up, put on her black dress, her little bonnet, and off to the White House she went to have lunch with Ronald Reagan. She got to the front gate, and there was a Marine. That Marine asked her what her name was. She said, Frances Green. He looked down the list. Sorry, ma'am, your name's not on here. Please step aside. She said, oh, yes, yes. I was invited. I was invited by the president to come and meet him. He looked again and he said, I'm sorry, ma'am. You need to move to the side. Man, she was sad. One disappointed person. There happened to be a gentleman online that noticed the commotion and took her to the side and asked her what was happening. And she explained her situation, that she had come all the way from California, that she was invited. Well, he got cleared and went into the White House, and contacted some of the people in the White House and explained to them about Frances Green. And they said, well, there's no way she can meet the president. If she can come back tomorrow, we will give her a tour. So anyway, he went back out there, and there was Frances Green. Very, very sad, very disappointed. He said, can you come back tomorrow, and I'll meet you here, and they're going to give you a tour of the White House. And she said she had planned on staying one more day, so she did. She came back the next day. He met her there. This time she was clear. And they gave her a very nice tour, magnificent tour. But he could tell that she was still very disappointed that she wasn't going to meet her hero, Ronald Reagan. And this is where character comes in. This is something, ladies and gentlemen, that our greatest generation taught me as I grew up amongst retiree senior citizens here in Pasco County for the last 40 years. This is where our greatest generation, our seniors, built this wonderful country, went to war for it, made our country free, the greatest country in the world. Well, this gentleman thought if he could get Frances Green close enough to the Oval Office, maybe, just maybe, she'd get a glimpse of her hero, Ronald Reagan. Well, it happened to be a day that all types of commotions were going on around the world and in our country. The Attorney General, Edwin Meese, had just resigned. There was conflicts with Libya going on at the time. Well, in and out of the Oval Office came five-star generals, Security Council director, and it didn't look like that she would be able to get a glimpse of Ronald Reagan. But then the door opened up enough to where Ronald Reagan happened to see this gentleman and Frances Green. And Ronald Reagan waved them in. Ladies and gentlemen, Frances Green is now walking into the Oval Office of the White House. And this is character. And this is that character, again, that our senior citizens have taught us, and we need to teach to our young people. And sometimes we lack in Washington and in Tallahassee. Ronald Reagan got up from behind his desk, walked over to Frances Green. Now, Frances Green can do nothing for Ronald Reagan. He's the most powerful man in the world. With whatever he wants, whenever he wants it. He said to Frances, he said, Frances, had I known you were out there, I would have come and gotten you myself. And that's a great story about character, and they sat and they chatted. And it is something that I really believe that we need to continue that great opportunity of building character in this great country of ours. And you do that every day, each and every day. Whether if you work here, or you come here and work, or maybe you're a caregiver, someone who takes care of a senior citizen at home, we appreciate all that you do. You see, because I know the good efforts you put in. My mom, who lived with me for more than 40 years after my dad passed away back in 1971, she passed away in December of last year. And always was a strong person, just like all our seniors are, but at some point she got ill. Never thinking that I would have to put her into a rehab center and then eventually into a nursing facility. And I soon found out how hard-working, dedicated, committed people that work in our senior centers, that work in our nursing centers like here at Bear Creek, the good work that they do to take care of our seniors and others, especially in the twilight of their years. I thank you so very much. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.